Hi, it's Jennifer with Jennifer at Home, and I'm here with Alan, and we are going to show you how we like to make our holiday turkey. Alan's going to show us a little bit about what he likes to do to make this turkey extra special. Let me have him tell you about where he likes to begin.
So, cooking a turkey, a lot of people are intimidated. We're going to show you a couple of tips and even show you some of the instruction sheets that come with the turkey that people don't even understand that's normally there. So we'll go through that a little bit. We'll talk about cleaning out the turkey, and we will get it seasoned up and get it roasting.
Okay, let's get started.
Okay, the turkey I picked up over at the grocery at Walmart is a 15.5-pound turkey. It's a butterball turkey. Check your grocery store apps, ladies and gentlemen, because all of the stores are competing with each other right now. A lot of them will price match, so if you have your local ads, you can go from one store to another and see who's got the best sale, and if you're already there, you can actually pick up a really good deal on the spot. So inside the wrapper, there was a little envelope, and it had this little piece of paper in there. A lot of times people throw this away. So for someone who's not sure what to do, you actually can just open this up. It has some recipes, but what's most important is right here at the very beginning. It tells you how long it will take on average to thaw this turkey. So that's one of the things that a lot of people do. They take their turkey out and they just set it out on the counter, and you start running the risk of spoilage and all kinds of bad things happening with poultry if you don't keep it cold enough. So the best practice is buy it 3 or 4 days in advance and let it sit in a pan in case it has any drippings and from the thawing, and just let it thaw in the fridge. So there's also a very handy dandy chart right here at the top, and it will tell us on average for this particular one, a 10 to 18 pound turkey, 3 to 4 days to thaw in the refrigerator. And depending on whether you stuff it or unstuff it, you can check out one of Jennifer's last videos about the stuffing and or dressing that we make to go quite nicely with this. But we can anticipate that this turkey is going to take 3 to 3.5 hours to come to the proper temperature once we put it in the roasting pan and get it in the oven. So I'm going to preheat the oven, and then we'll open the packaging and we'll see what's inside. We are going to preheat to 325. A lot of times everything's cooked at 350, but for this particular, the recipe card that we had that came with the turkey said roasted at 325, so we're going to stick with that. So this says it's an easy open package. I always just like to cut this netting off and get rid of it. And remember, everything we do here we're going to disinfect when we're done, because you just don't leave poultry. You have to clean up after it.
Including the scissors. We'll want to also disinfect the scissors that we use to open the package when we're all done.
Okay, so even though this turkey has been in the refrigerator for numerous days, there's still a little ice in the packaging, so we're going to make sure everything is nice and thawed all the way through. If the turkey is still frozen in the middle, it's not going to come to temperature. It will bake slower. So a lot of times the manufacturers, the retailers, put things in here. A lot of people use stuff. So under the front cavity, in the neck area, open that up, and there usually will be a bag of, this is the lizard, the gizzards, and the liver and stuff like that. We actually don't use those, so I'll just throw that away here in just a little while. And when you open it up inside, you can see we still have a sizable amount of ice in here. So what we will do is we will make sure we're going to flush this turkey out. We're going to wash it anyway, because you always want to make sure you check the entire turkey. Sometimes there's little pen feathers left on. and you want to make sure you pull all of those off. Give it a good wash. Get rid of all the gunk that you might find, any old feathers. And in here, in this block of ice, is actually the neck. So we're going to want to remove that. There again, a lot of times people will eat that as well. There are a lot of different recipes where people will boil those extra parts, and they use that, dice up some of the meat, and they'll use that in their gravy and things like that. So I'm gonna get this turkey washed up, get it all rinsed out, and we're gonna let it sit for a couple minutes just to drain all the excess water off. And then I will show you the spices that we're gonna use to flavor the turkey before we put it in the oven. Like I said, we're gonna give this a good rinse with some cold water. I'm gonna feel around in there and make sure there's no ice pockets still in there, and there's not. I put on some gloves simply because I'm gonna be digging around in there, and I didn't want all that turkey stuff all in my fingernails and things like that. So there's a little bit of ice I can feel in there. A lot of times, there are different recipes people will, I know we have in the past, Jennifer's put lemon and onions. You can take a lemon, dice it, cut it in half, dice up some onions, and just fill the cavity full while you're roasting it. And it gives it a real good flavor. Today we are just going to go with spicy butter, actually, and I'm going to put a dry rub all over the outside.
You want to make sure you use cold water. Don't rinse your turkey with warm or hot water. You want to keep it nice and cold. Okay, we've got the turkey all rinsed. I did switch trays so that we were starting with a clean tray. And like I said, we're gonna just get a little bit of that water off of there, and we are going to take a paper towel or two, and we are going to blot some of this water. The oven's preheated. So we're gonna blot off some of this water, because what we're going to do is to put the spices on, we're gonna put a little bit of oil on the outside, a little vegetable oil or a little olive oil. I think we'll use olive oil today. And just like when I do some of my dry rubs on some of my meats for the smoker, we're gonna just get the surface good and dry now, put a little oil, season it up. But for turkeys, we saw this a long time ago. Jennifer showed me how to do this. We will go up under the skin, and you can actually just go with your finger and go and peer between the outer skin and the breast of the turkey, and we are gonna put some softened butter in here. So Jennifer's gonna go over here and she's gonna show you the spices we're going to use today. We'll also, in addition to putting the butter underneath the skin, we're gonna spice it up a little bit. We actually have an injectable spicy butter marinade that we will inject down into the breast meat. So Jennifer's gonna show you some of the spices that we're gonna use today. Okay, I'm going to show you everything we have here that we're going to need. We have 2 sticks of butter at room temperature, and we really like this. This is a Weber dry rub. We also have the injectable butter. This comes in a plastic container, and it's a liquid, and then it comes with a big meat syringe so that we can put the juice in this syringe and inject it right into the turkey. And we have some extra virgin olive oil. We have onion powder, garlic powder, and some parsley.
Okay, we are just going to take this room temperature butter. If you need it softened, so set it out so that it can soften on its own. If you put it in the microwave or put it in a pan, it's really going to break down too much and it won't do what we want to with it. Okay, so now we're just going to sprinkle a little onion powder. Now remember, this little garlic powder,
this butter is going to go up underneath the skin, and the skin becomes translucent as it's cooking, so you'll be able to see it. So this parsley will just be absolutely beautiful up underneath the skin. So now I'm just going to kind of mash this all up, stir it all together, put on another pair of gloves, and then we'll start working on the turkey. So here's how that softened butter turned out. You can see all the parsley that's in there. So now we're gonna work on stuffing this up underneath the skin. So you can actually just work your hand right up in here. Be careful, you don't want to tear it, but you do want to just make this nice and open. It just separates, you can see. Just very carefully going to work my way up there because I want this to be a pocket that's just going to hold this butter, and it'll just drip down through the breast and just marinate it the entire time from the outside. So we're just gonna go for it. Stuff some up inside. You can use your other hand on the outside to help hold this, and it'll start coming off. And now you can see some of that butter up underneath. And remember, if you've made too much butter, find another place to put it on the turkey, because since I've had my hand in the turkey, all of this butter is cross-contaminated now, so you can't save it and use it for anything else. So stuff every nook and cranny with it. You know, even a lot of times I will take it and put it on the outside. So I have plenty of butter left. So I think instead of using olive oil, I'm just going to use this butter and rub all over the outside. It still will give it a nice texture. It will make a nice surface that the dry rub will be able to stick to, and that will work out just fine. There's no sense in it going to waste. Put it all over the drumsticks, and this will also help crisp up this skin. Just a little bit left here, so we'll get it all over that. A little bit down on the wings. So what do you think? Is it looking good so far?
It looks really good.
All right. I know the butter looks excessive, ladies and gentlemen, but like I said, it's contaminated. There's nothing I can do with it. So we want all of this to get crispy, so I'm just going to put my hand up underneath this empty neck cavity and spread the butter on that as well, so that I can get the dry rub all over the whole thing. So the next step is I am going to transfer this to the roasting pan. Then I'm going to change my gloves again, and then we'll put the dry rub on before we put it in the oven. Okay, let's transfer the turkey over to here. There are different techniques. You can take that wing and tuck it up underneath, and it will help it from flailing out. See how that gets off to the side, and then it just kind of gets out of control. So just kind of bend it, tuck it up underneath. It'll make for a very nice presentation. Okay, so as we talked about, we were going to inject this. So Jennifer's got it all nice and shaken up for me. I just put the bottle in the pan. It's all we rinsed it off so it's nice and clean. And every time you make a hole in this skin, you run the risk of the stuff coming back out. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go from numerous different angles on each breast and try and limit the amount of holes that I put in that skin, because as it cooks, I don't want it to effectively, you know, boil back out. So we're going to get one spot there, get some of that seasoning down there, just go numerous different angles, and it'll cook down through. It's not just for the breast. We're going to put a little bit down in the drumsticks as well. And just like the butter that we used in the bowl, all of this jar of this bottle of the marinade, the injectable marinade, is now contaminated because I have been taking this injector and putting it, you know, from the turkey back into the bottle. So please, when you're all done, make sure you throw that away. Now, from back here, I'm going to lift up that skin and come back in from this angle, get a couple of different angles so I don't have to put another hole in there. We already lifted up the skin to put the butter in. So we've got the butter all over the outside of it to make it nice and crispy, and we even have a little bit of the extra injectable spicy butter marinade. So now I'm just going to put a dry rub all over the outside. I know I'm blocking the camera, sorry about that. But we really like this particular Weber brand of dry marinade. A lot of people, you know, you can use just salt and pepper, but we just enjoy the flavor of this. So I am now just gonna throw those gloves away. We've got our turkey, it's ready to go. For the first couple of hours, we're gonna put a piece of foil over the top so that this doesn't burn, holds the heat in, and it can cook down below. And then for about the last hour, we'll take the foil off. The turkey will continue to brown all over the outside, and then later we will check the internal temperature and see if we've reached the right temperature so that it's ready. We're just laying this loosely on the top. We are not trying to seal this. We just literally are protecting that top breast meat and skin so that it cooks underneath and it doesn't get done on the top before the rest of it. So let's put this in the oven. We're ready to go. All right, for 3.5 hours at 325, and we'll check it again in a little while. So as I mentioned before, we've got the turkey in the oven now. So I want to disinfect the entire area where we have been. This is our nice Walmart brand disinfectant wipes. Very similar to Lysol. I'm over here, just coming around the other side. I've already changed out the washcloth and towel that we had here. I'm gonna wipe down the sink. I've already washed the dishes. Now I'm just gonna go through, do a sterilization of this, rinse everything down, and get it all nice and dried up, and we'll be ready to relax for the rest of the afternoon until the turkey's done. Okay, it has been 3 hours and 45 minutes. I've checked the temperature once. It was still a little low on the breast portion. The thighs were ready, but we're gonna check it right now. Oh.
Oh, it looks really good.
All right, we'll give it one final check.
And what temperature are you looking for here?
Well, so between 165 and 170. And that portion down close to that rib meat is 177. So we are done. And we are I'm gonna put the foil on top of this. We're gonna let it rest for 15 minutes. And then I'm gonna put it on the cutting board and we'll carve it up.
And here's how the turkey turned out. It looks amazing and it smells incredible.
And now it's time to carve it up. Now that the turkey's been resting for 15 minutes, we're gonna start carving it. Sometimes the carving of a big piece of meat like this it's a little scary for people and they don't know where to get started, and that's why they won't even try this at home themselves. So it's really very simple. We'll make a couple of cuts. We'll start to break this turkey down, and then we'll make some nice slices off of it, and we'll show a couple of different things you can do with it. So let's get started. I'm just gonna cut down through here because we're gonna work on the breast meat first. So we're just gonna start right up here at the very top. We like to do this a couple of different ways. You can slice it and just make nice slices off, just kind of like you see at a restaurant. Or you can just remove basically the entire breast in one piece. So when you cut down by the leg here and you separate it, you can get your nice sharp knife down in here underneath and basically make like a relief cut. And then you just cut downward across. And then the next thing you know, you will have a nice big slice of pure breast meat.
And they can see how juicy it is.
Look, and remember we put the butter and the parsley in there a little while ago? See, you can still see it in with the meat. So there's a lot of good meat still here. We'll just slice this up because inevitably there are people who don't care for some of the certain cuts of the meat. This is the most popular, but you can just see all the juices running down. And we'll just take this all off of here. So it'll take a little while, but basically you can cut the two sides of the breast off and put that here on your platter. What I like to do is I'll probably put that right back here on the cutting board, and I'm gonna make some nice thin slices off of that so that there's perfect serving sizes, and you can just get what you want at that point and we'll enjoy it. So we're gonna work on this a little bit more, and we'll be back to show you in just a minute what you do with everything once you get it all cut up.
How the turkey looks now that Alan has it all carved up and ready to serve. You can see all of the juice, all of the buttery juice that's coming out of the turkey. It's so glossy and so shiny because it's very, very juicy and tender.
Okay, now that the turkey has cooled, and by the way, It was delicious, don't you think so, Jennifer?
It sure was. It was a great thing to have for dinner tonight.
It was so delicious. So I promised from start to finish. So basically the last thing to do is to debone the turkey. So it won't put you through all of it, but what I'm gonna do here is just to show you is while it cools down, there is a whole bunch of meat on the bottom. So you basically can cut the wings off, but I just wanted to show you that there is all kinds of meat all over this. So just go through, and you don't even really have to use your knife. As you can see, once it starts cooling down, these pieces of meat will just come right off of here. So what we'll do a lot of times is we will take all of this turkey meat, and a lot of it's all shredded up, and we'll dice it up a little bit. We'll put it in a bag, put it in the freezer with a little bit of the juice, and it is the perfect thing to put in if you're making like chicken noodle soup, or if you're gonna make a turkey pot pie. Anything that you need some small pieces of turkey meat for, it's perfect. So we will reserve all of that, and we'll have that for later. So I'm gonna get to work deboning the rest of this, and then we will pretty much be done with it.
Well, the turkey was wonderful. Alan and I had the turkey for dinner, and I made a couple side dishes and some homemade gravy. And it was just wonderful. The house smells amazing. I hope that you give this turkey recipe a try, or one of your own, because making a turkey really isn't that difficult at all.
Not at all.
Alan did a great job with all of it, and I was a good helper, I think.
Absolutely. When we deboned everything, we had like 5 Ziploc bags full of all the meat, and it's already in the freezer. Now we just have to do the dishes.
Yeah, so we have some set aside for after church tomorrow, and the rest we'll have for all the season to come. Clear up until Christmas, we'll be having some turkey pot pies and turkey noodle soup. Ooh. All kinds of good turkey dishes. I can't wait to put those together too. But I really appreciate you being here today, and I'm sure Alan does too. We had so much fun making this turkey meal. And I would love for you to subscribe if you haven't already, and click the bell, and don't forget to hit the like button. We'll see you next time.